Rick's birthday was last Sunday, and I was like, "Oh, happy birthday! Would you turn 25?" He's like, 23. I'm like, "Fuck you!" Next week I turn 33. It was a decade.
In November, I turned 24.
I
did remind him. I was like, "Oh man, Scott, you're a decade older than me." Or he will be.
But Ian's old too. Ian's like 29.
No, I'm 27.
Fuck. Well, it's not bad.
It's
not
older, but still.
That's
not much. Like, not enough. At this
You're
point,
an actual adult. You know what I mean?
27. That's only 6.
like when you're a kid, like 10 years seems like so much, but now it's like, yeah, Scott's 10 years older. I give shit for him being old, but like, really, he's just got his life slightly more together and a child and a family.
Yeah, but that's because he's had more time.
Yeah.
Lack of sleep. It does you good. No. Go ahead, Ollie.
I'm not a baby. I am like the baby of all the streamers we know, though. More or less.
Dunce, I think, is the youngest, but I mean, he's part-time at best.
So, where we left off, they just came in with all the stuff from the lootings. Davis, opinions, please. They came back with the sword. They came back with also the hotel key card. They also came back with the data pads.
I mean, I imagine the release code's not stuff we would have acquired and did everything we needed to as we knew that they were returning, so that we can just like launch off of this base.
If you want to.
Yeah. Because, I mean, I don't imagine we need to be here anymore, right?
I mean, the reason why you got the hotel
that's
card
right.
was
I remember that. Yeah. I just remember that part. Because there was that one bit, but the rest of it we got. So we meet down in like the situation room or whatever it is. And I see everything kind of laid out before me. And I'm like, this looks like an incredibly successful mission. Everything reported along the way seems like you have done above and beyond what any of us expected was to transpire. So where did something go sideways?
Yeah, everything was fine, as far as I know. I mean, we did get asked, a couple of people asked after Prav's suit with those masks and such, like probably didn't see who we were, so it's probably fine. But people will remember that a couple of strange people came in and left. But I mean, they couldn't trace that to us.
Those trace it to me. I knew where the bodies were. I was the one in the camera.
Yeah, that's true. I had to use.
I deleted the data.
I imagine, like, because you guys were giving a report that you kept that one to yourself, like a little cherry for the end, and it was literally like you say that, and again, Davis doesn't often show like adoration or anything like that. It's one of those like you say that, and he actually looks at you, and compared to how he was looking at you just a few hours beforehand and now, you can see this like. Not only are things no longer where they were just a couple hours ago, but things are probably better than where they were since before that.
You could say his reputation increased.
Davis will remember that. Fucking telltale.
So anyways, so he looks at you and is actually like gives you a firm nod and like genuine respect.
Henrik gave me the logic bomb, so. If it doesn't work, blame him. It did work. I saw a green light.
Well, then we have a lot of we have more to do and still little time. It's only been so long before somebody starts putting two and two together. The longer we stay here, the more strings we leave behind for them to follow. So Henrik and Prav, the two of you immediately get on opening up any information we can get off the data pads. As for going to check out the actual hotel room, and I look about the crew that's there. Like, oh God, whose job is this?
You're not getting any help from us. It's your job.
I go, Rain. I think that's going to have to be us.
Yeah, I was about to say. I mean, there ain't anything. This ain't anything really. Underboard, I suppose. We can go there. We've got the key. They ain't going to remember the faces of all the people they have there unless it's a very small hotel.
Unless we've left footprints, fingerprints, images, anything behind that they're starting to put together now. And this is still a novice station, even if it doesn't seem to be under their control. There will be follow-through to one degree or another, either because of crossing the military or loss of profits. There will be follow-through. So
So we gotta get there as soon as possible, get what we need, get out, leave the station before any
possible.
work entail.
It's possible that there's already going to be someone in the room permanently as a guard, or that perhaps the room is just a front and leads to a bigger room. You know what I mean? Not a hotel room, an actual base. I'm fairly confident that were we allowed in, I could at least hide a weapon.
you don't think that you'd be better off here working on that? And I just towards all the tech stuff there, because my character just genuinely doesn't know all the details of you. I just see that you are capable.
Unless it's taking it apart, I'm not really very good with computers. I can just about get by, but honestly, I've only used a computer like maybe 5 times before I left New Earth.
I nod. I go, oh, all right then. Both of you get changed. We'll be leaving here in 10.
Roger that, boss. Rain goes to get changed. There's stifling a yawn as she leaves because we haven't slept.
I was gonna say, you are actually in ship time night. Like, it is your bedtimes.
Yeah.
We've got to push through this.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So while they're like getting changed or whatever, I'm gonna look over the stuff that they had acquired. I mean, most of it's pretty straightforward into what it is, and Henrik's gonna be able to get us the details, probably mission updates as we go in comms. That's fine. But the actual sword itself, that's what my curiosity is. I won't pick it up with my bare hand. I'll make sure, like, even though I'm likely wearing whatever my gear includes, gloves or whatever, I'll actually grab a cloth or whatever nearby to pick it up and to look it over and see if there seems to be anything unique about the blade beyond the fact that it's a fucking sword in the future. Those don't really exist.
It's a fucking sword in the future. Aside from the engraving that Rain had in, you could give me a knowledge check.
Intelligence?
The engraving on the script on the engraving is a form of incredibly old English, like old Earth English that you aren't even speaking English in this game. You know, you're speaking a future language. The words, not that you know a little bit of this just from like studies. It'd be like how people would learn Latin. You'd learn a little bit like old Earth English and Mandarin and stuff like that. But it doesn't seem to make a word. It's just like the old script symbols, you know, which would fit the whole kind of aesthetic of Excalibur.
Okay. So I look it over. I see these images. I don't fully understand what they are. I just know that they're Old English, which is like Old World English, which is something in and of itself. Probably requires more research. And I'll place the sword down and allow him to do his tests. And do I know, Ollie, like what degree of like tests can actually be done in this ship with the facilities that we have here?
You don't have any science testing, but you have a comms officer who can unlock these locked devices.
Yeah, that's different. I meant like an analytical device, but okay. You know, I was having the basic like, you know, rock tester that you find on literally every rover.
Exactly. You have scanners.
Yeah.
You don't have a science lab.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So just get ready and leave.
Cool. When you follow you have the plans of the station. You can kind of look up the name of the hotel and start heading towards there. When you do, it is actually further towards the mining side of the city than the rest. And this is when it is more what you expected when you came here. The air itself is slightly dusty. All the filtration systems are whirring and grinding and working overtime. They're struggling to make it by. There's a whole lot more people both on the streets working and on the streets not working, and the hotel is one of those 2-story buildings that kind of sets out a bit. It literally would have like a rooms vacant, like neon sign and stuff. It's not the nicest place. Would you just go in and be like, we have a key card, or just even like try to follow? It doesn't have a number or anything on the key card, but like try to figure out where it belongs.
Is there no details in that Henrique during the travel time and all that stuff was able to discover where was they going? There's no like numbers or any type of like reverse electro scan.
He's unlocked them, and he's going through the details, and would be messaging you about that, but it doesn't have. I haven't found anything about the hotel yet.
Okay, so I know like real life times. Often if like you need to know details about your card, you can like plug them into machines. They give you details, anything like that in a place like this, or no, it's too.
Oh, absolutely. There would be a person down there in the reception, but there'd also be like entirely automated processes. Be like, your room is blah, blah, blah. Do you need more time? Like stuff like that.
That actually works better. I like the fact that it's an automated person. I think it's safer for us. So why don't we use that to give us like the room number?
Yeah,
so we
I
can proceed.
It would point you up to the top floor. It would point you up to a suite.
Does it say the surname of the person who's the room, like the room name? It could easily be fake, but
Does it say like, hello, Mr. So-and-so,
Yeah.
your room is on the second.
It does. It is
Good morning,
the Villa family own this room.
I suppose we look sort of like a family. Maybe.
All right.
Not in the slightest.
That's okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's difficult to tell people's ages in this day and age.
Yeah.
And Prov and Rain are young.
Yeah. Legit.
So we go and boom, pop it in. What response is there, Ollie, if any?
It was an upper floor suite by the Villa family. Like it's enough for you to find the room.
Okay, so we go in and
Go up,
we unlock it. And what is it?
When you unlock the door, you see maybe a slightly larger room than you expected. You know, hotel rooms in this kind of future, unless you're on a wealthy area, wealthy planet, are usually pretty small. They're just bed, sleep, exist. There's a table. There's actually bunk beds, four beds, 2 bunks. And there's actually a dude semi-asleep on one of them. A fairly portly chap wearing the same sort of Excalibur stuff and with long, greasy black hair, who's sort of stirring from you opening the door, but that hasn't properly come to yet.
Is it just him?
Just him.
So I'm fairly certain
Place is
on
a
a
mess.
person that's sleeping, I can do an instant execute, but I'd need to check that. And I can also choose to do a non-lethal execute.
I think you can, as someone who's sleeping or unconscious, you can be
I
like.
think so, yeah. So I could do an instant non-lethal.
I think that's fine if you just.
Instantly, the dagger comes out the boot. He flips it from the thing and just bops him in the head with the hilt.
Yeah, he's like, oh, what do you got your
If-
back?
I
Boom.
suppose I have to roll damage, but
Nah, don't worry about it. In this moment, you easily come and knock this guy out, and he's right back off to Dreamland.
Okay. So we once he's like knocked back out or whatever, I'm actually going to check like his while they're starting to like search throughout the room. Everybody's kind of like spanning out and trying to try to check and see what we can find. I'm actually going to check him really quickly to see if I see any markings of Excalibur on.
He
On this person?
absolutely does. When you check him, he has the tattoos. He looks the part. When the rest of you go over the room, I mean, it's a mess. There's a lot of like takeout food and stuff, just kind of like half eaten around here. There's like a TV screen that's playing some adult entertainment, but like it clearly has been left on for a long time while this guy's sleeping. And there's also a like actual sort of laptop setup. Sometimes when you have to do a little more than your data pad can do, you need a bigger, clunkier setup, or you couldn't afford a data pad of your level of quality, but you can afford one of these bigger things.
Yeah, so more processing because it's larger or whatever.
Exactly. So there's like a chunky one of these laptops sitting on the table that is already unlocked because he fell asleep.
Quick question. So I'm gonna leave. Oh, yeah, I'll go to the laptop first. That's what I'll do. What are you guys going to? All right, if you're looking for direction, so if I look about and I see like they need some direction.
I was just reading because I wanted to
You're fine.
confirm that I hadn't used an execution attack in the incorrect, but yes, that is correct.
So you just knocked him out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to turn to Rain, and I'm going to say, as I'm going over to the laptop and getting prepared to, administer it, I'm going to go over to Rain and say, look about, see if they have any drugs, painkillers, anything like that. Let's see if we can keep him unconscious for a little while. Perhaps we can get him back to the ship, get more questioning or further away from here.
Would be pretty tough to drag him through the streets, I think, but on it.
And I'll go to what I'm doing. I actually don't give any orders to Prof.
Administer intelligence on the laptop.
Yep. Ugh! I lock it.
This whole laptop is so, like, it's something Rain would have. It's like, you can tell it's slowed down and clogged with viruses. It is not an efficient system. You almost certain it is being used for communication with, like, higher ups in Excalibur, but you have no idea how you would use it. It's actually giving you quite a bit of trouble. Rain, if you want to be looking around, you can give me a notice wisdom. Prov can also do that if he wants, or he can help you by giving you a +1.
So we're looking for like a drug, etc.
You're kind of looking for anything, but your main focus is drugs, yeah. What are you laughing at?
Yeah, I'll give Rain. I nearly called her Arvine. I'll give Rain a +1.
Not that I should point out, not that I have a good, not that I have any decent mod on this, but
Coolio.
but I'm rolling decently this session, so
You're rolling very well for you,
by my standards, yeah.
but you did just jinx it.
I basically up until this point I swapped my luck with Scott's, and having said that, it's just swapped back.
To be fair, I was rolling not amazing as well.
I think we're just rolling crap this round here.
It's fine, don't worry.
So while you're looking around, you don't immediately find any sort of stash of drugs. They actually have quite a lot of storage units here, as well as some duffel bags and stuff. You get the impression, Prov gets this a little more than Rain. Actually, both Prov and Rain do get the same things. You've had the same sort of lifestyle in the past. Of these people probably don't have a ship here. They've probably been told to like wait here. And they just sort of are living out of this room. When you're going around, you don't find any sort of drugs, you don't find any more weapons. You do find a fairly clunky thing, looks like it plugs into the side of the laptop, kind of like those old, how the Sega Genesis had like multiple attachments, like big chunky thing. Like it's almost as big as the laptop as well. It's got like like dishes and stuff on it. It was kind of under things.
So yeah, I sort of show that quickly to Dave. Should I take this back? Something we can check out back at the ship?
I nod, and just say, anything that looks like it, we might be able to get something from it on further examination.
Got it. Should we bring the whole laptop?
I look at the piece of junk, and I look over to what's his face there, and I realize I'm probably dealing with the most two technologically illiterate people. With a note check, can I know if this thing has the ability to, if I could shut off its ability to use like Wi-Fi or connect to upload to our network?
One moment, let me look at your stats.
Like usually on a laptop, there's like a function.
There's an airplane mode.
I could
Or even that. Yeah.
take out the hard drive.
I not an acknowledgement, but like a couple seconds after you say it, like I heard you, I acknowledge, but like
I would say with your skills, I think it's entirely reasonable you could disconnect this thing from the internet.
Sure. So then I will do that because if I'm going to take it to the place, I don't want to have a chance of those porn viruses uploading onto our system.
Don't want them porn viruses. They're the worst kind.
Yeah.
You better space Henrique then.
So I think Henrik knows how to keep. He's got his.
He's a hacker who watches porn. He knows how to do.
Yeah. So all of his porn history actually pops up in the nearest senator's history. So Anyways, you guys, I do that and then throw that into the bag as well.
Cool. Going looking around, it doesn't look like there's much more else of value, really.
And there was nothing really of drugs or anything like that that we could use.
At least that they could find. It's a mess. This place.
Yeah.
If you want to go ahead and do a quick sweep with a notice, you can.
No, I was just thinking to myself for a second. I actually stand there, and if anybody's like really close to me, I'm gonna like mumble and actually say something like under my breath. And if they happen to be upset with characters, I actually could say, "Oh, but Jason down, Jason down." And
I mean, Prog wouldn't understand it even if he was close enough to hear.
I mean, he would. He kind of was at his funeral.
Oh yeah. True. I forgot that. I forgot Prog was at the funeral.
I look about for a bit, and then I was just like, fuck. And I'm going to go and find whatever bottles of alcohol might be around.
Yep.
And I'm just going to grab them and like pour
Spritz
them
it.
all over like a nearby cloth or rag or something like that. And then just like press them against his body. So I'm not like soaking him in alcohol, but definitely like
Giving him the alcohol smell, yeah.
Oh yeah, just like really absolutely friggin'
Giving
nasty.
him that sexy stank.
Yeah, and then like once he like looks at all sorts of like he smells that way, he's already been knocked out and everything, so I'm not too worried about it. I'm gonna look about for anything that's small and bludgeoning and give him like a whack on the side of the head, so he clearly has like a black eye to him. And then
Oh
I'm
my
gonna
god!
look at the others and say,
You did think of what Jason would do. You're doing something questionably ethical.
Oh, that's low.
questionably ethical and utilizing drugs.
you have,
Not. I say, I look to them, and honestly, this is probably the first time Rain's ever seen me do anything like this. And I'll go, all right, let's bring him back to the ship for further questioning.
All right.
I'm gonna so the pack or whatever that you had that had all those supplies, Rain. I still think that I'm the hot target because even though you deleted the files, that doesn't mean people didn't see them beforehand. So I'm gonna take the bag of supplies that Rain had.
Oh yeah, I did. Henry had a look, and no one had looked at the files.
Is that true?
Yeah, that's what he was told.
Oh, I think for a couple moments. I nod and I'll go, huh.
If you trust Henrique.
I say, I do well enough. I'll actually hand the bag back to you because you're the sneakiest one out of us. And I'll actually work with Rain to bring this guy back.
I don't think Rain, he's a big fat.
Rain lifts him up, seems to be roughly the same strength as Davis. It's probably a bit odd because you've got military man and you've got small random woman who seems to shoot things who appear to have the same strength, oddly.
Exactly.
But it's just a matter of like shoulders, arm over shoulders, and dragging
two
him
people
along.
with can carry one guy and drag him along.
Yeah.
And are there transports and whatnot that you'd be able to use, like
Taxi.
like taxi-ish services that we could have used? I imagine no, but
Not really.
elevators
in a
that
place
were
like
along
this.
the way, or moving elevators, or like moving floors or anything like that were along the way.
There would be a little sort of like semi-subway system.
Yeah, so we'd use like
It'd be
whatever
a
it is
tram,
that-
wouldn't it? It'd be a tram, this sort of thing. It wouldn't go below. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it goes from one side to the other side, then to the work bit, then one side to the other side.
Yeah, you could take that back.
So we'll use whatever, and then just because he looks all sorts of messed up and everything, hood or anything like that pulled over his head, not so it like completely covers his face, but enough to like use discretion with our drunk friend. You know what I'm saying?
I am going to want you to make a perform charisma with a +2 with Rain giving you an extra +1. So +3.
Perform charisma.
+3.
So +3.
Yeah.
+3.
Yeah, with a +3.
All right. Not terrible.
It's good enough for common folk. It's just you're dragging this guy through the town, playing the whole line. Oh, he's drunk, but not it's not even that you're explaining that to people, because that's too heavy-handed. You're letting the actions do the storytelling for you. And your aim is to drag him all the way back to the ship while Prov sneaks back to the ship his own separate way, right? If I was listening correctly.
Sure, I don't really get why I'm sneaking. I just got a bag.
Yeah, no, you don't really need to give me kind of any sort of stealth roll or anything. You aren't going overly stealthy. You can just head back, just a separate route, just to kind of arouse less suspicion of the guy. I guess if they were leading a guy back with a bag full of stuff, that would look a little like a swag bag. Would look a little suspicious, I suppose. So, you guys get back to the ship with this guy. Then you realize the way you entered the ship is via a vac suit. You don't have an extra vac suit for him. Out here.
Want me to go and get one?
How far is it?
Enough. Far enough.
I was like, can I not just hold my breath?
I thought we dock.
You have
yeah, but it was like a
on the outside.
a Cloud City platform walk-in, but it's not a Cloud City.
Oh, that's fine. So there's an atmosphere here. It's just not breathable air.
You aren't in the atmosphere. You're like far afield in orbit. Well, I guess you're in, but no, yeah, you the whole time your ship's been docked on a separate thing.
I'm saying if you had like a Star Wars breather sort of a thing, one of those mask breathers.
No, you need a full vac suit.
Okay, you need the full suit.
I mean, you could chance it.
Sure.
Not that you have one of those anyway.
Yeah, then can we send what's his name? Prov, since he was the one sneaking ahead anyways. Could he just go grab the suit and meet us back here?
Exactly. He can
go
grab a suit, bring it back.
It's managed. It's awkward as hell for anybody around watching us get this knocked unconscious person.
It's one of the things, once you get to your little dock, it's not like anyone's really watching you, but it is awkward because you do have to get this guy into the vac suit, and he's slightly too tubby for the vac suit. So it's a whole little thing you have to do. This guy just an unconscious dead weight.
Ranger's like, can we get this like washed or something after we get him out of it? I don't want a chance wearing this after he's been in it.
I nod. Just say how our lives have changed.
And you can bring him back onto the ship.
To wash anything.
You can bring him onto the ship. He's still unconscious. And you have the laptop and the other device.
Seems like we've gotten everything that we can, so might as well blast off at least for now.
Cool. Yeah. The crew can basically do that without you. Like, you get on board with them. You're like, take us away, boys, and they. It's sort of thing where Anna will just sort of send you into space. Not really anywhere at this point until you work out what you want to do.
Right, so I'm worried about interrogating this guy, I suppose, last. If he comes to, we can keep him inside of our holding cell. Because, again, we never got the full layout for the vessel.
I have it. I just haven't given it to you. I can put it in the our chat.
Sure. So just because
the it's a JPEG anyway.
I think because I know it is meant to be like a pirate hunting. So is there a holding facility design here?
I mean, I didn't put one on the map, but it makes sense that there would be one, right?
Yeah. I mean, I imagine it's not a matter of capturing 30 fucking prisoners, but a handful from time to time would make sense, even if uncomfortably. So we put him inside that cell and just more or less ignore him. He's, later news, and go about whatever they discovered.
Mm-hmm. So what they discovered is looks like a laptop attachment, and it could attach to any sort of device, really. I mean, it was clearly the same make. Or so of the same laptop. It's made of this same sort of brownish metal. You could give me a no check, actually, a no int. Because maybe you might know something about it.
No intelligence. You have no intelligence.
You must have already done that joke. This is a long distance communicator. This is a subspace communicator attachment to things. Not ships can communicate over subspace. Computers and datapads can't. That's what this is designed to do, most likely so that they can contact Excalibur in Pike's system, right?
Wait, you said subspace. That means I thought you meant like so they could communicate one another within the same system. You mean across systems?
Yes, because they weren't on a ship. They were waiting for commands. This can
Oh
communicate across
shit!
systems.
Oh, because
It's the
I
kind
was
of
thinking
technology that does exist. Your ship can does it. Can do it.
But it's fucking advanced.
Exactly.
It's both advanced and not at the same time.
Well, yeah, for a spaceship, it's not. That makes perfect sense. But like on something like this,
Exactly.
okay, I'm sorry, because I'm thinking like sublight speed, subspace. That's just me being dumb. But okay, that's all right. So
I guess in this system, the better way would be a meta space communicator.
Yeah, that's fine. I just got excited for a second. All right, so we just take that. We know that they have the communicator, and I imagine we're going to try to like crack open whatever details or saved records of communications or whatever they might have on there. In the meanwhile, was Henrik able to find any details about the on the data pads while we were gone?
There's not really any details of plans on those data pads. There's some names, there's details of the ship that brought them here. If you're also interested in that, not really have any reason to be. They are not in any way high-ranking enough to know what explicitly is going on. They are waiting to find out what's going on. They were mostly getting people to follow your bounty. Like that was one of their things. They are trying to get bounty hunters to kill you.
Okay, so that's literally was their job, was to come and find us.
Essentially, also recruitment and.
That's funny.
Just to be a little.
Yeah, I do appreciate the irony here.
Yeah, it's like a spider eater just stumbled into a spider's nest. Like oops. So, anyways, that's funny. So all right, cool. So when we see that, I'm like, well, this is rather convenient. I imagine we all have our jokes about it, and I'm actually going to try to see if we can find who their point of contact was. Their names, of course, all that stuff is noted down. You don't have to say them. We just note them on file.
Mm-hmm.
I know,
with your administer, I think it's entirely reasonable. It's like, Henry's like, I cracked it, but I didn't really find anything. You just go over their data pads a bit. Their contacts, their communication records, and you find their point of contact. They are very much using sort of deep web passages bouncing between internets, between systems. Because the internets between systems are mostly separate, but there are ways to go between them to get some communication in, and they would have Excalibur isn't organized enough to have officers and commanders and things like that. But they have people who are more in charge, who are telling people less in charge what to do. So there's the people who is giving their orders. You easily find out, and they are very clearly also from Ballista, where you know the Excalibur bases.
Okay, so that more or less just reaffirms what we had already known prior. All right, cool. I can't think of. I mean, I imagine this is more of an RP thing. That computer that I flubbed with a critical failure on, I just hand that over to Henrique and say, "This thing's this thing is an absolute mess. Can you see if you can make heads or tails of it so we can properly look through its files?"
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I've ever handled anything quite this unique. But yeah,
it's what they've been working on. It's just be careful if there's a lot of viruses.
He opens it up and it goes back to exactly where it was before. Like it's
still playing
pop-ups and things. It's like, I will work on it, Captain.
It's like when you close your laptop, like while playing a YouTube video, and you pop it back open before you even do your unlock screen. You already hear YouTube in the background. Yeah, and YouTube does this to me all the time.
Yeah.
YouTube.
I have a daughter. You can have that stuff lying around.
Oh God.
Right?
Well, no, you're right.
Yeah, you're right.
It was just the joke. Yeah, he sort of like all other things. He takes that and he takes the sort of subspace attachment and kind of will start fiddling with it. It's not like he actually has a engineering bay here, right? Well, you mean you have engineering, but this is more like tinkering. He actually does this down in the med bay. He's got tools down there.
Yep.
Yeah.
His space.
I can imagine him like walking into engineering and Prob's just there, just watching him, and he's like, "Wash those clothes, yeah." And he's just like, "Yeah, no, I gotta go to the med bay."
It's funny actually, because I imagine that he's the kind of person that would totally use the laptop, like you said, in the med bay over on the actual like operation table. That laptop that's been used for God knows what, and never sanitized the table before operating on it. Ew.
It's on his
All
desk. It's on his desk. It's not on the
God
operating
damn it,
table.
Henry.
Like, Henry, you're disgusting.
You're a man of the age.
What does that mean? Hey, no. So, you guys. So, we is that everything we can acquire from all of the various devices and everything that we pick up, or anything that you guys can think of? Because that's more or less just all off scenes Henry
Yeah, you
crap.
kind of just have to give him time.
We're gonna interrogate that boy.
Right. If we're done with everything else, I'm totally down to interrogate. We're not leaving the system yet. So.
I was gonna say, do you want to give Anna a aim, or are you just gonna find somewhere, park, wait?
Well,
Yeah,
so
like-
we're already at the far side of the system. I
Yeah.
imagine without going too far beyond the gravitational pull of the sun, because obviously
Oh,
once you
okay.
get to the area where it's all like ice shit flying around, that's not safe. So just past Tongle.
Yeah, you're going sort of out that way. I will point out that Rain was told that the pirate vessel Skull Crusher was skulking around this area
Yeah.
at some
That's
point.
true, but we do have a stealth.
But space is big and you're a stealth ship.
Yeah.
I just wanted you to know because it's been.
Yeah.
No, that,
It's
yeah,
all, there's
that
always
I
weeks
do-
between
yeah.
things. So,
I couldn't
Yeah.
remember the name of the place, but I did remember the ship, but I did remember it existed and where it was.
Mhm.
So,
Oh, that's right. Old woman, a mother mutiny of the sword blokes. So they're sword blokes, and she has skull.
yeah,
Crusher.
but as it didn't seem likely relevant, Rain probably. I can't remember if I actually mentioned it in the last session to the other people.
it's easy
No.
enough to say you probably would have. You know.
Yeah, I think I basically got the information, went over to the other two, told them, and said, "Where do we go from here?" So yeah, they probably.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly. Yep, you are correct. So, all right, cool. So let's go do the please.
I think we should have like a little heads in
Mhm.
triangle talk to discuss our plan prior to the actual popping in there.
Excuse me. Sorry.
I get
yeah.
that a lot.
Of course. So once again, I imagine we're just in the situation room, whereas the others are all in their own areas doing the tasks that they need to do.
Yeah, there's the two of them are in the bridge. Enrique's in the med bay. The
there's a
random
few
dude is in a fucking interrogation cell.
A few items still sitting on the table that are already that are either already handled or aren't getting to yet.
Like the
say
sword is
and
just
stuff
there
like
because
that.
like you don't need to do anything with the sword, like stuff like that.
Mhm.
So, boss,
Mm.
what's the plan for interrogating that bastard?
Well, I mean, the old standard is what's it called? Good cop, bad cop.
I mean, I thought that was a load of bullshit.
I know I ain't ever been on the side trying to get information before. Never been the interrogator before.
I've done a few interrogations. However, they're usually upright at a table with hands chained to a desk, and when we speak there, don't usually have to tandem the conversations. But we can either do that or triple it up if need be. First, let's go with what the information we have and what we're hoping to extrapolate. Yes. So far, we know that he was a part of a very small group of Excalibur that was reporting back to, and I say that the name of whatever commander he has, back at the base over on Ballista. With the, they were specifically sent here to try to hunt us down, and we found them before they could properly find us. So we kind of buttoned that off. That's wonderful. What potentially could he have for information? I'm wondering. That ship that they flew in on. We have the details of the ship, but not necessarily its flying pattern beforehand. So that comes straight from Ballista, meaning has he been to that base before? Does he have details on the inside? What other bases has he gone to, if any? Is he a newer recruit or somebody that's been around for a while? Other names. Use him to crack open and find other paths for us to follow. These are the immediate ideas that come to mind. Beyond that, we need to make sure that this conversation is something that he might find beneficial for him. If it's just a threat of tell me or I will kill you, and then we kill him anyways, he's probably going to understand that it's not worthwhile. But before we even go in there, I could reach out to a contact and see if we can find a cell. Perhaps he can serve 10 years instead.
I was gonna say, his boys put their lives on the line for us. me because I asked them. I mean, that woman had a minigun, and they still hadn't attacked her with any motions of the sword. With a fucking sword. I would vote to let this man live because the honor that his compatriots showed.
I don't think the actions of his companions should be something that he should be judged by. And I also think that approaching somebody in combat with a sword is more of a sign of insanity than bravery. But that aside, I do agree that he should live because we are going to be taking information from him in by one means or another, and we need to give him a glimmer of hope. Otherwise, the likelihood of his cooperating is going to be slim. And I really do not feel like chasing down fake information.
Ain't no point in killing him for no good reason. One other thing you might try get out of him. That laptop, they were using it to talk to their bosses. See if they have any like coded things they say at the start of their talks, so that if he doesn't have any useful stuff, we can then try and talk to the bosses pretending to be him, or pretending to be them. Yeah? You follow what I'm saying?
I do. No, it does make sense. But if this is, and I actually will make a note down to Henrique as I'm talking to you, like look into if this is any form of video, verbal, or just text-based communique. I say, perhaps we can sway him to even assist us further in the means that you're referring to.
He'll actually reply quite quickly that it seems that this laptop was used mostly for video communication.
Okay. It's not that stuff can't be. So with that ping comes back immediately, you see like a twing on my face of. But then I'll actually say some of the things like that can't be falsified using facial recognition software and whatnot. But why don't we see if we can bring him to our side to a degree?
Yeah, I mean, it's probably easier, safer to get it off him than trying to risk it trying to talk to a boss.
Good cop, bad cop, logical, deal-making cop.
I'll actually, I'm going to think for a few moments. I'm going to say going in one at a time is probably the best bet. He's going to need a friend. I do agree that you are probably the best person for good cop. You seem the most akin to him. And I actually will look at you flat on right after I say that.
I was going to say I'd be bad cop. Rain seems to have a way with words, and she's probably not as likely to chop his gonads off as I am.
Oh, you misunderstand.
Rain just sort of gives a small grin.
What does it say? So the I say you misunderstand. You're going to be his friend, and Rain can be his friend too.
Right, and where does that leave you?
I'll watch, and if need be, I'll interrogate him afterwards. But I have a feeling like he's going to like your interrogation a little bit better. In the meanwhile, while you're doing your interrogation, I'm going to hop on to my contacts and see if I can find somebody that's willing to cut a deal for him if he gives us viable information. I'll reach out to and I look around at the ship, like taking like a view of the ship or whatever, and say, our benefactor.
If we don't have any luck with an interrogation, we can always stop off at Novus and pick up some what's it called? They use it in confessions. Squeal.
I nod. I'm like, I'm familiar with it, and honestly wouldn't be surprised if we don't already have some from Jason's pack before, but in the meanwhile, we will... Jason was somebody that kept medications on hand for when they were
I
needed.
agree. I agree. I'm just sad every time we mention Jason.
So I say, and I would be surprised if Jason doesn't have some of his pack on hand. But let's see if we can do this in a less aggressive way than we've already done.
Who wants to go first? Rock, paper, scissors?
Why not together?
Yeah, if we're both being friendly, then ain't no reason not to go in together.
Well, the reason I didn't think we were going in one together is because you said one at a time. Fine, I'm happy to go in.
Yeah, no, it don't. If we're playing the same role, there ain't no pining going in separate.
I'm probably gonna come from a different angle, but sure.
While they're in there, and obviously they're going to take the scene, I'm literally just going to like reach out to
Administer charisma.
first that guy, but then others.
Yeah, exactly. Like, no account. You talked to a bunch of people while you were on that base, snooping around.
That says no. I'm just seeing if I have no, because I didn't get the connect one, did I? I did not. Okay. So that's administer charisma. Not terrible, not great.
It's a success to a degree.
Okay, sure.
We'll come back to it. Brav and Ray. Interrogation time?
I think so.
So you have this guy in your little interrogation chamber, which is more or less a closet with extra space and stuff. It's actually near the... it's in like the engineering area of the ship. Like it's hot and steamy.
Chicka wow
For interrogations. He is like, I imagine you like taped him down, or there's all those zip tie things to like a chair down there. He's still asleep when you go over, and by asleep I mean unconscious.
I'll be back in 1 sec. Prob's gonna go make a cup of tea with the sugar in, and then bring it back in like a polystyrene cup.
Should we slap
Plunk
him
it.
awake?
Well, probably slapping him isn't the best way to start a friendly interrogation.
That's
I'll
fair.
also add that this room has a table. The table is basically built into the wall, so it can't be thrown
Okay.
during
Well,
any
let's
sort
drop
of
that
fights.
table down and I'll pop the tea in front of him.
Yeah.
Gone Rain, I'm sure he'd like to be woken up by a beautiful woman.
Right. So Rain is a bit clueless about what she's trying about what is going to wake him up short of slapping him. But so she's just gonna go up to him, hand on the shoulder, and just be sort of like leaning close, wave a bit in front of his face. Hey, you there? Wake up.
What the hell do you think you're doing?
Right.
Get away from me.
Right. Yeah. You're fine. I'm not gonna do anything to you.
You got me tied down like some kind of pig.
Yeah, well, that's so you can't do anything to us. So this can be a.
Are you good? You plan on doing something to me?
No. Don't get me.
I have
wrong.
you know, I have ties of Excalibur. They'll fuck you up.
Yeah, that's exactly what we wanted to talk about. Actually, we met your buddies. They didn't end up. They didn't end up too well after meeting us. You might not recognize my face, but you know those bounties you put out, or that you've been trying to get chased up? She just points at herself. So I think you can sort of understand what's going on here, yeah? I mean, that being said, don't get me wrong. There's been enough death already. We don't want to just kill you out of hand and nothing. So what we want a deal. We just want information out of you about Excalibur, about what you've been up to, about anything any plans they have about people in Excalibur, anything you've got. In exchange, you might have to serve some time, but you'll live, we'll live, you'll be out of a pretty dangerous situation, scot-free.
Give me a talk check.
Yeah. Here's where the lock falls apart. Ooh, that was so close to better, but it's still possible.
I don't give a singular shit what some little scrawny woman can do to me. I ain't scared of you.
Now, what was your name, friend?
Name's Fuck Off.
My
it's going
name
well.
is Providence Ballarat.
Fucking...
I made you a cup of tea. Here you are.
My arms are tied down.
Well, you know, I could always give you a hand. Just say the word and I'll help you have a sip. Your throat's probably real dry by now. We want to give you a hand. Just let us.
I will allow a talk check.
Taste my overwhelming luck.
You ain't got no
It's good luck.
heroic effort there. He's maybe comes down a bit more.
Yes.
You can see him kind of being like, well, maybe I am thirsty. I mean, he did just get knocked out and wake up and, you know, morning mouth.
Let's give him a sip of tea.
He'll take it and be like, ugh, ugh. Fancy city slickers in your tea. Real men drink coffee.
Do I sound like a city slicker?
Yes.
And he's gonna grab a chair and sit, you know, with the
Yeah. Like a
so his legs
cool
side.
teacher.
Yeah.
No, we ain't nervous. We ain't anything like that. You can tell from, well, as he said, where we talk.
Yeah, hat. Yeah, all right. And going around ranching with a hat like that.
Exactly. So, you know, as I said, we're all friends here. As I've said, what we want is simple.
I ain't ratting on my boys.
Now,
They'll
this
come and
ain't
they'll get
about-
me out of this cell.
This ain't about ratting, buddy. This is about self-preservation. All your boys on Tungle died. We saw them get torn to shreds by some bitch with a minigun. They were good guys. I liked them. We had a couple drinks, but I can't stop a minigun bullet. But you know what I can stop? I can stop you spending the rest of your life in a Novus prison. How about 5 years? That's not bad, is it? 5 years and you can get back out there and join Excalibur. If there's anything left when we're done.
You can give me a talk check. You can also, I don't think you have a good strength. You can totally be using talk strength for these interrogations. I can't really use talk dex here.
I mean,
As much as I would love to try and figure out how, but no.
I rolled the exact same roll. I'm consistent.
You are consistent today. Consistently average. Which is better than being consistently below average.
Technically, that's above average, right?
Well, you know what? Technically.
Technically, fuck you.
He's quiet, clearly thinking about it. You don't think he's all that impressed. He probably doesn't believe you that his team's dead. He probably can't tell that you're on a spaceship moving. So you're actually not moving that much, then, now that you... And this is actually, I think I didn't say, you probably all at least took a nap.
Is that, and it's obvious enough to both of us that he probably doesn't believe us and such like. Oh, bruv, just give me a moment. I'm going to go grab something. Be right back. And I'm going to go and get the sword.
When she leaves the room, Prav's going to say, listen, buddy, I tell you this. You're mute. I tell
I
you
was
this.
just I mouthed you wouldn't like her when she's angry. Because that's kind of the good
Now-
cop, bad cop line.
I tell you this out of the kindness of my heart. She looks all real sweet, that girl, but she's a psychic. I don't know whether you heard about them. Freaky mantis hybrids, and oh boy, you don't want to see what people are like when she's done with them.
Actually, it's. Hang on a minute. Have I ever told Prov that I don't think it's ever.
He's not seen or known anything.
He's not. So I mean, it's completely reasonable that he would just be.
I mean, I
He
could
could
do
be.
that.
He's
I
taking
probably-
it entirely out of his ass, which I
Yeah.
kind of.
I love
canon now.
that, the idea that he's just completely talking out of his arse and he's actually far closer than he thinks.
That will be what we'd have to do because he doesn't know. He doesn't know. He's. You know what? Talk strength. You talk strength, me boy.
You think that hat's weird? Wait till you see the antenna underneath.
I think you should get a +1 for that.
That's a good line. I like it a lot. He's actually going pale. But I signed up to fight Novus, not to fight no aliens. Not no alien bitch. Not no alien with a human face. Not no sidekick. Not I didn't sign up for that. No, they never said. I mean, I know that they got some of those weirdos down in the HQ, but I don't want to worry about that. I ain't gonna deal with that. I told my boys if I ever had met up with her, the one with the crazy brain, I was not gonna shake her hand. I wasn't gonna do nothing. I was gonna go look the other way because I don't want to ever mess with a psychic. You know, you mess with them, they look you in the eye, they take your soul. I don't want that.
You get it. You understand it. Now there's no need to end up like your boys. You tell us what you know, I will keep her away from you. You will spend 5 years in a Novus prison. A Novus prison. They do not abuse their prisoners. I fucking hate this. They do not abuse their prisoners. Yes, it will be boring. Yes, you will be bored. And God, you will be so fucking bored. But you will have your brains to be bored. Otherwise, you could probably spend your time in a Novus Mental Institute, nursing what's left of your broken brains.
Talk check. I'll give you a +1 because I'm nice.
So nice. Oh. It's coming home.
He's kind of like nods a bit and is like, well, what do you want to know exactly? I don't know much. They don't really tell us much. We were just sort of meant to wait and meant to get folks to kill these people on this dumb stupid little ship.
I imagine Rain comes back around now with the sword.
He stares at you.
Yeah, Rain just walks in with the sword, sort of, he's staring at her, and so she just sort of like, she doesn't know what's gone on, but she can sort of like, she glances at Prov, guesses he's probably said something, just puts the sword, like, one hand on it, then leans against it, it's just like, carry on.
Prov puts a hand on his shoulder when she comes in, gives him a squeeze and says, I think my friend here has decided to talk, so there'll be no need for your extra measures. If you let the captain know, we'll find out what we need to know. And he'll like look at him like, yeah? Find out what we need to know.
Oh, I don't get to play around. Okay, fine. I'll go.
So Scott, with that check, you're taking all this time, you're taking these calls. You actually don't get through to anyone at Pike, and you don't have enough contacts. What you do get through is to someone who runs holding cells here, actually quite nearby at Corvin, which is in the Nova sector. It's their sort of mining station. You could essentially put him into the prison system there with your contacts. Like it's like, oh, dealing with criminals. So, of course, you'll have to do paperwork, but you had no ways to make it legit enough that it would get him out of the way and not kill him.
Well, I mean, we also have enough evidence of all his terrorist activities.
Well, exactly, right? They are terrorists. They're just terrorists. Kind of like Novus doesn't care about Excalibur, but still, you have enough to put them away.
Yeah, definitely put him away. But was there a means to like make a deal? Because easily he could become a prisoner. Like it's not a
What do
matter
you
of
mean
conviction.
more than make a deal? I mean, I thought the whole idea of getting
My apologies. This is easily evidence to convict him for crimes. That's without even the slightest doubt. But it's convict him for crimes without necessarily having too much of without them throwing the book at him.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Okay.
With
Gotcha.
you doing, some administer checks and however long that will take, depending on how good your checks is at the time, you can help this guy do paperwork to kind of slip him into the system.
Okay, not a problem. All right. So obviously, I would have informed them of the details. So they come out, and so
you can inform them
finally,
now.
Yep, you guys come out, and I let you know the deal.
I think Red did. Prob's staying in time being, and
Prov will come out because he's gonna make him a coffee.
Right, sure, okay. Rain's specifically going to go and find Davis and be like, "Boss, Prov wants your help down with the dude. I think he's got something. I think he's got him on the hook, but seems like you're going to be more useful for getting the specific than I am."
I was in calls half of that time, so I barely got to pay attention to what was happening in the room. He seemed to be a bit of a dick at first, but opened up some.
Yeah, Prov was good at talking to him. Because they both ain't very fond of Novus,
All too well. Very well. And I'll look to check the cameras. It's probably as I go to flip over to see what's happening. He's literally says something, it's probably muted, says something and makes his way out of the room. And so I'll go to cut him off for wherever in the hallway, probably on the way to get that coffee. I imagine you'd come with us, of course, Rain.
Yeah, I'll follow, but...
And you know what? Hold that thought, because this is the time to take a break.
Yeah.
For our last little segment.
You better think of a name, because I'm going to have said that. Obviously, I would have asked his name when I was like, "So can I get you a coffee?"
That's a good point. That's when you ask, when you give him the coffee. We'll be back in a minute.